Welcome to lesson 7.1, and in this lesson, we're going to be doing a little bit of a review. We're going to be finding the slopes of lines, and you should remember this from last year, and believe it or not, the things that you learned last year are going to help you in this class. And just a little preview, it might help you next year as well. Whoa, mind blown. Anyway. So let's do a little review. For this lesson, it's going to be a review from last year. We're just going to be looking at how to find the slope of a line. And you might remember slope just means the rise over the run of a line. That's it. That's all slope is, rise over run. And there's three ways you can find it. You can find it from a graph, you could find it from given 2 points, or you can find it from an equation. And in this lesson, we're just going to be doing it here. This is going to be this lesson. We're going to be doing graphs and points. And this over here, equations, we're going to do it from the next lesson. All right. Now, if you're looking at these 2 points and you say, man, I remember how to find those, the slope of that, well, good for you. And if you're looking at this and saying, well, isn't that the slope and that's the y-intercept, then you got a pretty good memory. So this is just going to be some review, and we're going to go over at how to find the slope of lines. So the first thing we're going to start off with is how to find the slope from a graph. Okay? So come with me. Come down here. Okay? Let's find some slopes from graphs. All right? So first we have these 2 examples over here. All right? In this example, to find the slope, all you have to do is pick any 2 points on the line. That's your first step. Identify 2 points. Doesn't matter which 2. I like this point, and I like this point. And you're going to count the rise over the run. All right? We're going to count it, and we're actually going to put the number there. So we go up 1, and then we go over 2. All right? So our slope is rise is 1, run is 2. Now, some people say, does it matter which 2 points I pick? Well, actually, it doesn't. If I picked these 2 points over here and here, let's try it again. Well, in this case, I go up 2, all right, and I go over 4. So my slope here would be 2 over 4. Now, I know what you're saying. Mr. Siegel, that's not the same as 1/2. You wrong. I said it does matter. Well, guess what? Actually, you might have forgotten one thing about slopes. You always have to reduce your fractions. So we're going to take 2/4, and if you reduce that, guess what you get? Oh, it's still 1/2. So it doesn't matter which 2 points you pick, you will always get the same slope. This is a slope of positive 1/2. And the slope, that positive is important because it's going up, it's a positive slope. Now let's try this again. For this time, we're going to find the slope here. We'll pick 2 points again. How about this point and this point? Okay? Now, once again, we're just going to count. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3. And whenever you go down, you're actually going to put a negative here. So this is down 3 and over 2. So since this is down 3 over 2, I'm going to put negative 3 over 2. All right, and that's the slope of this guy. But it's really important. Let's put a note here. When you go down, must put negative. And the reason is, when you're going down, that's actually a negative slope. So we have to put the negative there. This is down 3 over 2, so our slope is negative 3 over 2. And look at the difference between a positive slope, which we see here, and a negative slope. All right? Now we're going to keep going. We're going to check out these 2 right here. All right? And this is horizontal and vertical lines, finding slope of these. And it's a little different. So I just want to remind you how to find the slopes here. Now, I have a horizontal line. This is horizontal, by the way, the first one. You'd pick 2 points like you always do. And let's see. To get to these points, I would go up 0, no up, and then I go over 3. So since I'm going up 0 over 3, well, 0 over 3 can be reduced, and that reduces to 0. And what you might remember is that the slope of all horizontal lines is 0. So let's put a note here. Slope of all horizontal lines is 0. All right? So if you ever have a horizontal line, the slope is 0. Now, once again, let's try it over here. So I'll pick 2 points again, here and here. And in this case, I go up 3 or down, it doesn't matter, but I'm going up 3, and I'm not going over at all. So I'm actually going up 3 over 0. Now, if you put 3 over 0 in your calculator, you know what you get? You get an error. So this is what we call undefined. And you should know that the slope, put this note down, of all vertical lines is undefined. And just a little review from the beginning of the year. You might remember this, you might not, but how do we find the equations of these two lines? Well, you might remember if it's horizontal, our equation is y equals 4, right? Since this goes through 4. When it's a horizontal line, it's y equals, and when it's a vertical line, we would say x equals, and in this case, this is x equals -3. So just a little reminder there. Y means horizontal, x means vertical. All right, on to our next slide. So for this one, we're just going to review, how do we find the slope given 2 points? We've done it from a graph. Well, how do we do it from 2 points? And to do that, we just use the slope formula, which is given right over here. All right? And so I'm going to give you all the steps on how to find the slope given 2 points. So let's say we had this question. Find the slope of a line that contains the points 3, 1, and 6, 7 using the slope formula. Well, what you should start off by doing is labeling your points. So this is x1 and y1, and this is x2 and y2. All right? And now, whenever we have a formula in this class, you rewrite your formula. Luckily, I've done it for you. The slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We'll plug in our points. Always keep the parentheses. So y2 is 7, y1 is 1. x2 is 6, y2 is 3. You do the top part, and we get 7 minus 1 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. And because we always reduce our fractions, we get 6 divided by 3 is 2. So our slope here is 2. Now what you can do is put it on the graph to check. All right, so you can actually go and plot these 2 points. So 3, 1 and 6, 7. And if you wanted to check your slope formula, you could always just use a graph. And I recommend use the graph generously in this lesson, in all these lessons, because the graph is a great way to visualize the mathematics. And if you did the same thing here, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 3. So our slope would be 6 over 3, and once again, our slope reduces to 2. So either way, you get the same slope, okay? But we can use the slope formula. Kind of saves us some time, and it can be a little easier. And now for our final example, we're just going to try this once again the same way. Find the slope of a line that contains 8, -2, and 2, 6. I recommend pausing the video and trying it yourself first, and then playing it and see if you got the right answer. And remember, let's do the same steps as we see here. Okay? Step 1, label the coordinates. x1, y1, x2, y2. All right? Makes it easier to plug in. Step 2, we're going to write down the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? Now, we plug in. We get 6 minus, and remember, I keep my parentheses, -2, and 2 minus 8. Now, the reason I say to keep your parentheses is because this double negative that comes up a lot. All right? And it'll remind you, if you have 2 negatives, you actually add. Or you could just put in the calculator. But it's 6 minus -2 is 8. 2 minus 6, 8, is -6. Because we're good math students, we always reduce. And I want you to put this nice and big. We always reduce fractions. Always. And what we get here is 4 over -3 for our slope. All right? So our slope is actually -4 over 3. And that's it. So, guys, that's it for this lesson. You should be able to find the slope from a graph and 2 points. And just before you go, and I give you your daily advice, I just want to remind you how to find the slope if, let's say, you don't have any points. Because people sometimes ask me, here's your independent practice. Well, how do I find the slope here? They don't give me the points. Well, I'm sorry, but you got to find your own points. So you find 2 points on the corners, like here and here, and then you're good to go. So just remember, find your points first, and then count it if the points aren't given. Duh. All right, guys, what you should do right now is pull a chair next to your mom. Just kind of breathe heavily for a second so you get her attention, kind of in a creepy way. She'll look over and say, "What's wrong with you?" And you say, "I just wanted to say I love you, Ma." All right, guys, have a good day. We done.